Good evening, guys. So, yep, we already got 5 likes and all kinds of people on here.
Good.
This is Jason Geiman with Pressure Wash Help, and tonight I got a special guest on. This is a great success story. He has grown his business in the last 2.5, 3 years to a spot that a lot of people will. It takes a long time for them to get there if they ever get there. He's a very young gentleman that is killing it. And he comes on my lives and he supports me all the time, and I really appreciate that all the time. And so, again, if you all are looking for something to dominate your market, I'm going to push this plug here real quick of, I think that was pressurewashhelp.com/webinar. Go check that out. That'll be this Tuesday night. Me and Bobby Walker are going to get on there, and we're going to have a good talk of that kind of stuff. So I see we got quite a few on here. We got Mr. Teak from he just came to my class, and then we got Jason from Gulf Shore. So what do we got going on here? I got all kinds of crap going on here. All right, so I hope my volume is good. I'm sure somebody will let me know if I'm tile or not. But so tell me who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself there, Ben.
My name is Ben Baker from Central Ohio, the Zanesville area, about an hour east of Columbus. Still within our service region is the capital, Columbus. Not too far from you. You're just over there in Cincinnati.
Yep. That is correct. So tell me, how did you get started in pressure washing? I know you. Did you go to college for pressure washing, or wait, do they have a college? You could go to college of pressure wash help, but that's about the only college you got there.
Yeah.
So how did you get into pressure washing?
So, interesting story. When my full-time job, used to be full-time job, was installing satellite internet for a company here in town. And I was installing internet one day, and a gentleman, he just built a brand new house. He was a firefighter just like yourself, and he was talking about how on Saturdays he has a part-time job where he goes out and washes houses doing a thing called soft wash. And I was like, wait, what? Soft wash? I've never heard of that before. I was like, well, how's that work? Well, he comes out and he holds in his hand all the actual pressure wash tips, the yellow, the green, the red, all that. He throws them on the table and he goes, you're probably used to seeing those, right? I was like, yeah. And he goes, no, that's not what you use. And he pulls out the J-rod, K-rod as we call it. So he pulls out a K-rod. He goes, this is what you really use. And I was looking at it like, what in the world is that thing? And it went from there. He said, it intrigued me. So I started watching videos, of course, yours. John Lang, of course, watched a ton of his, still do. Rob Anderson, you, John Lang, you three were you were my college in pressure washing. So, but yeah, I did go to college. Went to nursing school for a little while there. That didn't work out. So,
you didn't want to be Gaylord Fokker?
No, I didn't. It didn't work out for me. So my whole family's all in the medical field. So I'm jealous in that way, because I wish I held a degree like they did, just because. But that's what got me started, is watching the videos. And I remember John Lang saying, you got to have a 4 gallon a minute to downstream. You got to have a 4 gallon a minute. Got to have a 4 gallon a minute. So one day, as I was doing a job over in West Virginia, this lady had a Jeep sitting in her front yard, and she it had U.S. Army on the back of it. And I asked her about the Jeep, and she said, yeah, you want it? And take it. And I was like, okay. So I had it towed back to Ohio, and again went to do another internet job, and lo and behold, this gentleman had a tank, an IBC tote sitting in his driveway with a tote over top of something. And I was like, what's that? And he said it was a pressure washer. I was like, really? He built it himself. So it was a Honda, 4 gallon a minute, brand new, like 20 hours on it. I'm like, what? He's like, how much do you want for that? And so he told me the price, and I was like, well, would you consider trade? So I traded the Jeep for that pressure washer, which was a 4 gallon a minute. And that was our first pressure washer. Still going today, actually. Still kicking. And I put it in the back of a pickup truck. Hired 2 guys. As I was still working full time, I hired them, and they went out and did jobs. Started out with Home Advisor. So we signed up with Home Advisor right off the rip. I know people have mixed things about HomeAdvisor, good, bad, horrible, whatever. We don't use them hardly at all now, obviously, but starting out, if you're on it and you call them back immediately, it worked out for us. So it kept that truck moving. So I was still working full time. The truck was still working full time. And we had done our first 5 digits before I was ever even on a job. I was never even at a house wash, and we had already done our first 5 digits. So that's how it got started. That was back in 18. And then 2019, the beginning of 2019, we bought our first rig, which you can see one of them behind us. But bought our first rig, and I went into it full time. And it's been great. It's been a real blessing with the help of family and, of course, YouTube gods like yourself. It's been a absolute. It's my passion. Like, we haven't. I mean, it's just, we love it. We love it. Love it.
So so you did some obviously you did some HomeAdvisor and stuff like that, marketing. But what all services do you offer with your company?
So with the primaries, as far as the soft wash industry, roof soft wash, house wash, concrete cleaning, surface cleaning, gutter cleaning, of course, gutter brightening. We have also added concrete sealant. So we seal concrete with a pretty awesome type of sealer that we come across. So it's got a fantastic warranty on it, 10, 15-year warranty guarantee. So we do concrete sealant as an upsell after we do the concrete cleaning. And then we also we do painting. So our painter, he's got 30 years experience, and we don't do the painting like us power wash guys don't, but that's all he's ever done, and that's all he does. So we do the people who ask us for paint jobs, and we run it through obviously our business, and then our painter goes and takes care of it, and that's all he does. He doesn't do any washing at all, so he does nothing but paint. He stays ridiculously busy. So those are a couple things that are a little bit just add-on extras that customers were requesting over and over and over. We decided to go ahead and tack those on.
So one thing that you've gotten good at is some large commercial jobs, and a lot of people are scared to death of large commercial jobs. Tell me how you lucked into all these large commercial jobs, and you really didn't luck into it. It's all about networking, and you're learning more about networking. And so tell me a little bit about that story, because that right there, that story kind of gives me goosebumps sometimes. That's the story that, it's that one business card. It's that one Google ad that you paid for. It's that one thing that could change the whole outfit of your business. So tell me a little bit about that story there.
Yeah. So back when the truck was running without me, way back when I was still working full time, we had one of our guys, and he knew some people in a company here in town that is a advertising monster in the area and all across Ohio and America. And he knew some folks in there, and he stopped in one day and gave him a business card. One of the business cards that were very generic. It was the very first ones I ever made, little 4x6. Vista print, just the very first ones I ever had. They were super generic, and he dropped it off there, and a gentleman there happened to call me for a house wash for him and his 3 neighbors. So we did them all at the same time. Great experience, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that gentleman ended up being very, very high up in that advertising company. And he called us one day and said, we need some one of our clients needs some exterior cleaning done before that we can install their new signage. And that client happened to be a hospital. So, which was, of course, like you said, scary. It terrified me, but it was a hospital that was transitioning over to the largest hospital chain in Ohio, which, of course, as you know, is Ohio Health. So we went down there, we did the bid, and we won the bid, of course, and it was our first huge commercial job. And from that advertising company, we built a great relationship with them by offering a turnkey solution to their clients for having that cleaning already done before that their services are offered. And of course, all of the residential and then other commercial work that they had as well. So they really were our intro by creating a relationship with that advertising company. They were our intro into the commercial world, for which we will forever be grateful. and we still obviously do a ton of work with them. Have a great relationship with them and the owners, obviously, and that is how the commercial world got started. So we went down there, we did that hospital, we did a lot of extra stuff. Really did a stellar job. And since then, we've done two other hospitals, partial work for two other hospitals since then, along with roughly about 55 or 60 other commercial accounts from Ashtabula all the way down to West Virginia. So, yep.
So
Gas
one
stations,
little
all
5
kinds of
cent,
stuff.
$1 business card got you a couple $100,000 worth of work.
Yeah, that's actually that's real that's real numbers.
And so
Yep, and it's because that we did a good job on his house wash.
right. Yeah, it wasn't even you went
So
to the hospital. You did a good job on his
no,
house wash, which then he's
correct.
like,
Yep,
hey, I have all this other work.
right. Yep, yep.
And so that is something that, I always get asked a lot of people ask me of, what's the best way to advertise? What's the best way? You never know. Like I say, it could be that one person that you meet in networking. So tell me a little bit more, because you do the networking side of things. What else do you do to try to network and to get business wise?
So of course we obviously, we're on Angie's List and whatnot. We do signs. Signs are a huge one. But as far as the networking side of things, so we're obviously with the Chamber of Commerce, but we do radio advertisement, and with that radio advertisement, and we create a relationship with them. So we had a few news broadcastings of some charity work that we did, and then also of some contracted work for the city. So we did quite a bit for the city here in Zanesville, excuse me. And they were there to cover that in video footage because that we create a relationship with them, and we buy from them. So we buy a radio package and other advertising packages from them monthly. People do business with people who do business with them, and we're in the same exact boat. So which is why that we buy billboards. So as you've seen on Facebook, we've I don't know, quite a few billboards we've had from last year, all through last year and this year, and we'll continue to do so. And it does work. Billboards do work, but the relationship is what is important to me. So they do business with us, and we're going to do business with them. So, and that's how it works in just about every industry. So that's that correlation, scratch my back, I'll scratch your back type of thing. That's sometimes I think overlooked a little bit, because people get this idea of, oh, well, that's not a ROI. There's no ROI on that, or that's a low ROI radio. That doesn't produce hardly anything. You're right. It does not produce what other advertising avenues can produce. But what it does do is it creates a relationship with people in town who are very influential and who have the power to take your business to the next level in other ways than just getting you new clients. They're just multifaceted avenues of producing you and pushing your business. And that's exactly what we pursued, and it has turned out phenomenal.
And that's a good point too. Of a lot of times people don't realize just being around other business owners can really help you and help you grow your business. And maybe they're not, they're probably not in the same business, but it's one of the old saying is you become like the 6 people or the 5 people you're around. And so if you're not around good people, or lower people, not being lower people, but not business owners and that, then you're going to struggle in that. But if you're on the low end of those 5 people, guess what? That's going to help elevate us up and bring us up as a better business person. And that could be, hey, I own 10 buildings, or I know somebody that owns 10 buildings that is looking for somebody
Happens all
to
the
clean
time.
it.
Yep.
And so
Happens all the time.
and that's where it helps being into that relationship building with that. And, all this started from a business card. So somebody said, can you ask him, did he start with door knocking? I don't think you'd ever did no door knocking, did you? Actual door knocking?
No, we have not. We did a couple 5 rounds, very, 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 very few, mainly because of a time frame. We packed the jobs pretty tightly. But
how many jobs
no,
are
we
you?
didn't.
How many trucks are you running right now?
So we run two full rigs, which is what you see behind us here. So we run 2 full rigs.
And how many jobs are you doing per day per rig on average?
Depending on the job, but between 4, sometimes 5, but 4 is an average.
So you're working pretty hard and you're killing it pretty hard there then to get that many. And he does work very late. I've called him before and it was like 9 o'clock and he's like, "Yep, I'm just driving home." So
All the time. All the time. When somebody calls, they say, "Hey, do you do house washing?" Sure do. 6 days a week, 16 hours a day.
You got to
Same
remember, you
answer
got to
every
have
time.
time for your kids, and they're growing up on you.
That's
So
true.
otherwise, your
That's
wife
true.
might like all the money, but at the end of the day, you still got to spend time with your family, and to do that is very important too. So
That's true. And moving in that direction strongly and surely, obviously. So, in the
and I
office more
understand
now
when you're
that,
starting a business, a lot of time you do got to do the hustle and the grime and doing that.
Sure.
And something that I've been trying to get Ben here to realize is that you got to get off the truck. If he really wants to explode his business, he's really going to have to get off the truck. And that is probably the hardest thing you will do as a business owner is you're putting what you've done you already did it once with one truck, but you got another truck and maybe another truck coming on top of that. And you just got to get those systems down, get those systems in place. Like I was telling them guys earlier so I've been doing a Zoom call with everybody in my membership, and today was the first day that I did it. And the biggest thing that you've got to get, because somebody asked me how do you get employees and stuff, and the biggest thing is having systems. And what I always did is have check sheets for every job, and that way, and you can do that check sheet whether you're doing that check sheet through your website or just a pencil and paper. And what that check sheet will do is it will help you eliminate some of the problems, because you can't help stupid sometimes, but you'll learn that there's some people there's no help to be helped with, and so
no, that's true.
it don't matter what you do. But and sometimes you say, well, nobody can clean as good as I can, and that's not always true. I hope that's still running. And that's not always true. And so, sometimes I had one guy that I could load him up and he could do any amount of work I loaded up on him, and he'd be back by 2:30. Never had any
Remember that
callbacks,
video.
and
Yeah.
he never had callbacks, and it didn't matter how much I loaded him up. He could have it done, and he was there and doing it, and that was, but then I have had other employees, they'd be out till 10 o'clock and get half their jobs done because they couldn't figure it
Yep.
out. And so employees is one of those things, but to be able to grow our business to the next level, it's about putting those things into place of, making sure that we have that check sheet. And on that check sheet, and I put them in there, but on those check sheets is, did you take your four pictures of the before pictures or video or however you want it done? Because you say, well, they didn't. Well, and the best reason why you want to do that in the check sheets is, does it have shotgun fungus? Does it have oxidation? Because when you get those callbacks, now you can go look at that sheet of paper and say, well, it has shotgun fungus. That's what those little black dots are on there. Versus,
Right,
you
yeah,
didn't clean
right.
that house. No, he cleaned it. It just
Right.
didn't do something along the way there.
Very true.
So Gregory Townsend he's just kind of starting out. Networking and relationships are just as important as marketing to me. I thrive on the personal relationship with customers. It only takes that one customer who knows somebody that knows somebody. And this is something that Ben was talking about before we got on here was, he can really help sell when he gets to those jobs. Tell me about your process of closing jobs and stuff.
Yeah, so it depends. We close a lot over the phone. We close a lot just by the website submission. They'll submit through Facebook or submit through the website, and we will, that's a sign they don't really want to be bothered. Unless we have to have more information, we usually just go ahead and type it right into our CRM, which we use Jobber. And we, excuse me, I don't know what's going on. But we just type it right into Jobber and shoot it off to them. And then, of course, in that, there's a description of how the house wash is completed, a link to our other online presences. And then, they reply back with confirm, or there are changes that need to be made, etc. But a lot of our jobs are also closed on site. So we do a thing called visual estimate work completion, which is where we, just go ahead and we go there to the site, and we'll close the job right there on site. because sometimes you're not really unsure when they call. You're not really sure they want to price over the phone, or if they want you to shoot them an email. And you can tell it's going to be a difficult type of a pricing situation. You want to make sure you get it right.
Awesome. What did you freeze
We go
up
by
on me, or
packages, of
you
course,
just
just like you do. We want to extend.
gotcha?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
One of the guys asked, where did you get your rigs built at?
Yeah, Ice. I saw that comment, and yes, Ice did build our rigs.
Okay. How many guys are on a truck with you, or how many guys? Is it just a one-man truck, or do you run two-man?
We run 2-man, so sometimes in a pinch one, but for the majority of the season, majority is 2. We run 2 guys.
What now? What do you find to help get your average tickets up? What do you try to do to get your average tickets up?
So came from you and many others, but when we get there, they call for a house wash. We don't quote just a house wash. We'll quote the roof. We'll quote the concrete. We'll quote the gutter brightening. So the deck cleaning, and then of course concrete seal later on after. But so we don't quote just what they want done, and kind of educate them on, listen, the roof is this kind of mold, and this is why you need it cleaned. And we show them pictures on the iPad of other things, and that really educates them, because some people don't even know. They don't even know that it needs cleaned. It doesn't even cross their mind. But then once you point it out to them and you show them a before and after, then you really it upsells them. I mean, so that's increasing the average ticket, and it does a really good job at doing so.
What do how do you work on trying to get your how do you bid your commercial work? What's your what's your daily goal for your rigs per day?
Revenue wise,
Yeah.
the goal is $1,250. So that's the goal. The goal is $1,250 per truck per day.
And that's pretty good. That's not too crazy right there.
No, it's easy. I shouldn't say easily attainable, but it's more often than not, much more often than not.
Yep. So what is one thing in business that was hard for you to learn, and how did you figure out how to overcome that?
Well, it was pretty difficult getting over my fear of people saying no. That was a hard thing for me, because I'm afraid of somebody saying, I'm afraid of, I guess, losing the bid, I guess. And that's a dangerous place to be in, because you can end up shorting yourself. You can make a mistake pretty quick by that. So that was difficult, learning to accept the fact that you're not going to win them all, or learning someone ask you, well, is that the best you can do? Can you come down just a little bit more? All that type of stuff, or not even a little bit more. Can you come down on that? Unless it's a commercial account and there is room for wiggling. It took me a while to learn, no, we can't, and this is why. And then you explain to them, you're more than welcome to go somewhere else. You're more than welcome to call another company. That's fine. But we know what it takes to run this truck, and we know what it takes to be able to keep this truck moving and continue to offer these services. So that was a hard thing getting over.
And what you find out in business too is when those people that want to sit there and nickel and dime you are usually the worst customers ever, and want to call you back and aggravate the crap out of you.
Yep.
And so that is not a bad thing, just to be like, bye-bye.
Yep.
Yep. So that was the bad. So tell me something good that you've learned from being in business for yourself versus working for the man of somebody else. What is that one thing that you really like now that you may have not thought that, like for me, I love doing marketing, and if you'd have told me I love doing marketing 5 years ago, I'd have told you you're crazy. So what is something in business that you really love to do, or really get you that go-go juice to keep it going?
Well, obviously not having to punch a time clock. That's pretty nice, obviously. But one of the best things is being able to to not have a glass ceiling on your income. You can go out and make as much as you make. So if you have a goal, you want to buy a new car, or you want to whatever, go on a special vacation, the harder you grind, the more you push, the more money you can make to make that happen faster versus just being on a $1,000 2-week income salary where it's going to take you 4 years before you can build up this much money at this pace, because that's all you make and your bills are this much. So having that ability to be able to be in charge of your own advancements in life, that to me is probably that's a huge plus, because if you're in control of your own income, then you can do some pretty amazing things.
And that, I think, is probably the biggest thing that a lot of people, it is a scary spot, though, because, you do have control of that, and you are in control of that. And, if you do nothing, you get nothing, and to be motivated and to keep your motivation going. And that's why I preach a lot of times of setting goals and not and set goals that you can obtain monthly, weekly. You said daily, $1,200 a day goal per truck, so you're looking at $2,400 a day goals of setting that, and that will help get that. But and like you said, if you want to go and splurge a little bit, we can and go do that stuff. Central Illinois power washing. What do you guys do to keep your guys busy in the wintertime? I'm to the point I need another guy, but I don't want to be training a new guy every season because I can't keep a guy busy in winter.
Well, the goal is either to have work in the winter or make enough money in the 9 months, 10 months that we do work so that they don't have to worry about it. So one of those two things. Obviously, Christmas lights is going to be a massive help. But we try to make enough money during the summertime to sustain through the winter.
And that is good.
And gas station contracts running hot water. Hot water is a plus. You can work a lot further into the winter. We worked last year, all the way through December and into January because of having hot water. So you can go out and leave when it's 28 degrees and start washing when it's 32 and be okay.
And so if you want to learn how to do pressure washing or Christmas lights, it is in my membership. I'm going to throw a plug in there. And there is a special code that will help you get a discount for right now. If you go to pressurewashhelp.com/training and put in the discount code July 4, July 4, JULY4, and that'll get you a discount. But Christmas lights is a good thing to do, and that's what we was actually talking to you about there.
Right.
Who do you contact to get commercial work?
You mean like...
that's just a question that came in, and that's kind of one of those questions of, like I say, it was one business card that really got you a lot of work. And then once you did that, you've gotten to network with other people. Does that make sense?
Correct. Yep. Yeah, because business owners know business owners. That's who they hang out with, because great minds think alike and birds of a feather flock together. So if you're a business owner and you're successful, then you are going to hang out and hobnob with people who are like-minded, who are successful, and who want to learn from other business owners to advance your own, aspects in your own organization. So, and I've tried really hard to do that. Again, with Chamber of Commerce, with being Better Business Bureau accredited, different things like that. Trying to be more active in the community, and a lot of our residential clients, they own businesses too. A lot of them, and they'll have you come do their house to see how you do, even though they see you online. They see your pictures, see your videos, and then they have you come do their own house, and then they'll be like, well, you know what, I have 24 rentals, or I have storage units, or I am in a couple of houses, and we'll talk about it. House already have success to do for the same individual because they wanted to see how you did.
And that's it. And this isn't something that Ben just got there and he has 2-3 units and he's this big giant company and being able to get all this work. He just bought his second unit 2 weeks ago. So this isn't something that you have. People think that, well, I can't do this big commercial job of this hospital. How many big hospitals and stuff have you did with just one rig?
All of them.
That's what I'm saying. So you've done probably what, $200,000 worth of work with one rig with no extra stuff. So a lot of people think, well, I can't do that because I don't have all these rigs. You don't need all these rigs. One rig can do a lot of work at the end of the day. So
yes, it can. Yep. The goal, I mean, our the goal is to do 250,000 a year with one truck.
$250,000 1 year. Yeah, you're kind of cutting in and out. So $250,000 for 1 year is exactly what he's shooting for per one truck. So he's got 2 trucks. So guess what he's shooting for this year? 5.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's storming really, really bad here. So that's probably why there's bad reception. But
gotcha.
It's storming like crazy here.
There, now you're back in good now. So,
Good.
What would be a plan of attack on Stamp Cannon Creek with copper gutters? Worried about the gutters? Yeah, copper gutters can suck.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get bleach on them. Is what I'm going to tell you. So, so we talked about that. What do you do for a hobby? What is your hobby?
Well, my brothers have a farm. We all have a farm together, really. But Joe and Steve live out on a farm, so that's where my heart and soul is, out at the farm. I haven't been able to spend hardly near as much time as I wanted to out there, but we have a farm and have a cabin out there and quite a few acres. So going out riding the 4-wheeler, shooting guns, of course, things like that. So that would be a hobby, but generally that's very rare that happens because of time. So my real hobby is spending time with my kids, and I have a drone, so we fly my drone quite a bit and practice with it to use it on the job as well. So we use a drone for a lot of our shots and a lot of our footage and things like that. So shooting videos and flying the drone is pretty fun.
How old are your kids, and how many kids you have?
Wife and I have 4 kids. One's 14. One is 5. Yeah, 5. And then 6, 5, and 2.
Shoo!
5, 4, and 2.
All what?
Yep. Yep. So 2 girls, 2 boys.
So you got your hands full then. So
She's at home with them. That's one thing this has been able to do is provide. So she gets to stay at home with them, which is a blessing.
That is a blessing. That is awesome. That is something that is something that you can't give back.
Very few women get to do that.
Exactly. You can't get that.
Right.
That's something that you don't always get to be able to do and be able to. A lot of times people, you both work 9 to 5 or not, whatever, and then neither one of you are never home, and that's not a good thing at the end of the day, I don't think. So That's how it was. That's how it was back in the beginning. Yep. And so that is something that I think that, when I say, I do what I do to help people change their lives. And this is something of how Benjamin is a success story. And that's what I love about success stories. Greg, I think I'm pretty sure he's on here. Central Illinois Power Washing, a bunch of these guys, are people that are just regular, ordinary people, and they have made more money than they have ever could have thought they would have made. I know Central Illinois Power Washing just asked a question here, and his goal originally was to do 10,000 the whole year, and I don't even know where he's at now. I know he's probably really close to $30,000, if not more. And so, and that's only in 3 months, 4 months. And so, he told me, he's like, he's ready to hire another person here. So he has grown his business to that much, and he would have never thought that, and they just had a baby. This may allow her to stay home. It gives you freedom. It gives you financial
It
freedom. It,
does.
it gives you all kinds of different freedoms. But financial freedom is one, and then time freedom. You grow your business enough, you can start working when you want to work, and all that kind of stuff. So he did ask a question: Can we solve once and for all the debate of rents or no rents on a roof? Got 2 separate roof washes coming up this month. A little nervous. No rents. Quit listening to other people. And the only way I would tell you to rents is if you have, if they don't have gutters. If they don't have gutters, then I would tell you to rents. Do you rent your roofs, Benjamin?
No, no. I mean, if we do, it's because there's a salt mark, like that video Rob Anderson posted. If there's salt marks coming down where it looks like it's still like got water on it, but it's dry, we'll sprinkle water on it and rinse that. But generally speaking, no, we don't. We do not rinse roofs. We have a lot of slate roofs around here, so we do a lot of slate roofs. We don't rinse those either, at all. So it needs to continue to kill, and then when it rains a day later, it can reactivate that solution and continue to kill on after that as well. So no, we do not rinse unless, like I said, there's salt marks, or unless you want to get a great photo directly after, and you have time to let it dry and then rinse and then dry. And if you want to, we don't do that either. We usually either come back, or I'll go back separately and take a couple shots or drone footage. But no, as a general rule, do not rinse.
So Central Illinois said he has done $30,000 and over in 3 months and just starting out. So that's pretty
That's good.
phenomenal. I don't care who you are.
Yes,
So
yes, that's good. That's 10 grand a month. Listen, 10 grand a month. The average person don't make that. And I know that's not all profit. We all know that's not all profit, but the average person does not bring home $30,000 gross a month.
no.
They just don't.
No, and they don't
So,
even.
I
Even if you say 75% of that, most people don't bring home $7,000. Most people are bringing home
no,
$4,000, $5,000 a month, and 30,000,
correct.
$10,000 a month. Hell, even if you go, like I say, 25% is it going to stuff, and that you're still at $7,000, $8,000 a month. There ain't a lot of people that make that kind of money. Period. You know what I mean?
No.
And so,
Unless you're in massive growth mode, you're right. That's.
yep. So let's see. He's growing his on new crew on me. It's the side business. I don't know what that. Invest in high GPM pump or hot water rig. I probably would go with
Both.
both. Yeah, but if you got to pick one, I'd probably go. Unless you're going to do some commercial work of that, I'd probably go with like a 5, 6, 5, 8 gallon a minute. I don't know. We used to run all cold water for a long time, and then the only one thing we did go with warm water. We did upsell warm water too, so you can use it for
Right,
both.
right.
So,
I saw one gentleman on there ask about insurance. You just had a video not too long ago of what the insurance gentleman that you recommend, and I believe he's also on your website. So the gentleman who asked about shoot me over to an insurance agent,
yeah,
Thomas Croner. Watch his previous video. He
pressure.
had a really good session with that guy.
pressurewashhelp.com/insurance will take you a list to him. But again, if you have any questions about insurance, he asked a lot about those answers. I've actually got Teak was asking me. He was in my training yesterday and was asking me about health insurance and personal health insurance. And I'm going to see if the lady that I'm using for my personal health insurance, I may see if she'll come on here. She's out of Florida, and see if she can do. What do you? Is there anything you do for health insurance for you and for yourself and your family, or do you have it through your wife or anything like that? Or are you not there now? You there? Hello? So, again, I don't know what he said. There was storms, so I don't know if I've lost him all the way or not. Um, See if he'll come back on here. His stare down.
We have our own.
There you go.
Yeah, we have our own insurance guy here locally. He's actually based out of Coshocton, and he actually provides us with our insurance. Can you hear me? I can hear. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Now I'm starting to hear you again.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
So,
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I hear you the whole time. I heard you the whole time. I can see that. So, yeah. So, as far as I'm trying to move this around here a little bit so you can maybe get better reception, but I don't know. It's still storming, so I don't know what's going on. So,
Gotcha.
but we have a guy for our insurance here. He does our commercial auto, the liability insurance and things like that. He also does the health insurance, and our guys have access to him if they so desire.
Gotcha. I know Wet Window Guy was asking about marketing, and we kind of talked about it in the beginning. Is there any other thing that you do for marketing? So I know you do you said you did the TV ads, or the radio ads, and you've done billboards.
Mm-hmm.
And what else do you do for marketing wise?
Yep. So we run TV, radio, solid right now. Not TV. I apologize. Radio and billboards every month right now currently. Again, that's a relationship aspect there. I'm not saying go do that. I'm saying that as far as building a relationship with those individuals and those companies and those business owners, it has been advantageous on our side to do that. What the big hitters for us is Facebook. Facebook is a huge one. We do a lot of boosting, a lot of Facebook, requests come in every day. A lot come in through the website. Google My Business, of course. We have, I don't know, I can't remember, 60 some Google reviews, 5-star reviews. So that's a pretty big one. So we get a lot of that driven through Google My Business. And then, of course, signs. Signs is a big one. We do a lot of signs. We get our signs. As you know, we buy the fancy signs, not saying that you have to. We get ours off of Team Wash Life. John Lang and Devin Lovings, shout out to them because they do all of our business cards and they do all of our signs, the high visibility signs. And buddy, they work. I mean, they just flat out work. We put out 100 signs, and the phone will not stop ringing. I mean, it just won't stop ringing. It's just all there is to it. So between Facebook, Google, Angie's List, of course, the billboards, that's a touch, if you will, and the signs, and then referrals off of current customers. So we go to a customer's house, we hand them 2 or 3 business cards, and we get a lot of work from private referrals from current clients because they're blown away, of course. And those multifaceted avenues produce an immense amount of requests for service.
So what do you do you have a specific of how much you try to spend a month on marketing, or do you just kind of wing it, or is there a percentage that you shoot for or anything like that?
We spend about $2,000 on marketing, $2,000 to $2,500, depends on what kind of reaction I'm getting on the Facebook, if I want to boost some more, if I don't want to. So it's kind of like that part's a little bit emotional for me, but generally speaking, $2,000 at a minimum we'll spend on marketing per month.
And a lot of people don't realize that you got to spend money to make money at the end of the day.
That's right.
And where do you spend the money at? And that's the thing. You've done trial and error, and that's what you have to do. Obviously you said you used Home Advisor in the beginning and then you quit. You've used Angie's List, and Angie's List is starting to work. Works well for you, and so you don't know what's going to be. People always ask me, "What's the best way to do it?" And it's like,
there is no best way.
Everybody's best ways might be different. So.
Yep, and it depends on how you market too. It depends on how you do your quoting, how you do your sales, and different things of that nature. It also depends on timing. And depends on your presentation, because a lot of people if they see you on Home Advisor, they're going to double check you on Google, or if they see you on Facebook, they're going to double check you on Google. So if you don't have reviews on Google, or if you don't have at least a couple, if you're just starting out, whatever, the goal is get the reviews, get 5-star reviews, and push them to another source online because it's kind of like a validity type thing. They see you in one place, they want to see you in another place. So if they see one of your signs and then they see a Facebook post boost, and then they see a Google ad if you run Google ads, which is a big thing, of course. We don't do that personally yet, or maybe in the future with you possibly, but we don't need to, just because we get a lot through Google as it is. But finding a balance, someone once said, I don't know who it was, but life is like a pendulum. You have to find the middle in everything, not all the way to the left, not all the way to the right, but find that middle ground somewhere. And that's what we try to do. So we do a little bit of everything to be diverse, but then we push more towards what works, and that is signs. Signs work. You preach it, everybody preaches it, and it's true. They work. Signs work. Referrals work. Google My Business work. Facebook works. That's a fact.
That's good information right there for anybody starting out. I don't care who you are, because I said the same thing. So I preach the same thing over and over, it seems like. But sometimes it's hard to get.
Where I learned it from.
And it's sometimes everybody wants the gold nugget of what's the easiest way to do it. And business is hard. It's like I say, I can teach anybody to pressure wash. I teach people to pressure wash all the time. But it's hard to do business, and business is hard. Ben got to find out about taxes and getting to deal with all that crap, and wasn't ready for it. And that's how I first started talking to him, other than online. I answered his call, and of what do I need to do? And so them are some things that you've got to learn, and that's part of business. Is the marketing side is part of business. It's not part of the pressure washing, because marketing and sales is part of business, and that is why you got to learn business. And he didn't go to school for business. He went to school for nursing. I didn't go to school for business. I went to school for mechanicing. And there ain't nothing that I learned in I got an associate's degree, and there's nothing that taught me anything about business at the end of the day. And that's what makes this, that will either make or break you. And that's what I tell people. This isn't for everybody. This is not for everybody, because some people, if you're not willing to have the stress, and and this week has been rough for some guys, and they're ready to kick the stuff out the tailgate because everything's breaking down and all that. That's part of being in business. That's part of maintaining your equipment and all the good things along the way there. Is that not correct?
Oh, it's very correct. Yep, it's absolutely correct. I think that's where a lot of people get in trouble, is they don't have any experience in managing people at all. And if you can't manage people, you most likely can't manage money. And if you can't manage those two things and learn how to along the way, or find someone to teach you and be willing to be open-eared and learn. And you can find most of all of that online. You really can. But having someone that can be influential in your life, who has either owned a business or owns a business currently, and you stick to them, someone you can call and ask questions to, and different things about that, that's where you're going to, in the long run, that's where you're going to succeed.
Yep, I agree 100%. So, Ohio house washing, he's kind of in the Columbus area too, but sign placement besides your customer yards. Do you put your signs everywhere, or do you just put them in your customers' yards?
Everywhere. We put them everywhere. We put them on telephone poles. We'll put them on corners. We'll zip tie them to a stop sign, buddy. I don't care where. So if someone wants to come and take them, come take them. It's all right. Because you know why? I'm just going to put one right back there. And this is the reason why. Every single sign we buy, I look at it as that one sign, it's going to make me $10,000. I know that's a fact. It's going to make me 10 grand. Even if it's gone the very next day, I still look at it like, well, I just made 10 grand off that sign.
Right.
Because in the end, that's exactly what it is.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
You put them everywhere. We'll tack them on telephone poles. We'll leave them in yards. We'll put them everywhere. I mean, I've put them beside a like a really, really common fishing area down by the river. Go down there and I'll stack a sign right there.
Well, yeah, because it's like it was like I said, I think I said it in my Zoom earlier, is, we're not selling house washing. We're selling people time. At the end of the day, we are selling them time. If that dude's got to go, if that dude's rather go down there and go fishing, or would he rather go home and clean his house? I
That's
mean, it's
right.
not, I mean, if I like fishing, I'm going fishing or golfing or whatever I like to do. I don't like cleaning the house. I don't even like mowing my grass. I want to go do what I want to do, you know, and that's what we're selling these people at the end of the day is to make their wife happy. They're selling them time and that stuff.
Yep, that's exactly right. Same with buying. People are not buying a service. They're not buying a house wash. They're not buying a roof wash. When you walk up to a house and you think, well, I've got to get this person to buy this house wash. No, you don't. Don't have that time. Don't have that frame of mind. People don't buy services. People buy people. They buy you. They buy who you are. I buy from someone because I like that person. I'm not buying it because if you need it, then yeah, okay. But generally speaking, they buy you as a person, and that's how you secure that customer for years and years and years and years. They buy you.
Yep, yep. What do you put on your signs?
So we have a couple of different ones. Like I said, we go through Team Wash Line for ours. So we have concrete cleaning, we have house soft washing, roof soft washing, gutter cleaning.
What I know Tika or what I didn't put your YouTube channel on here. I did put your website on here, but what is do you have your web or YouTube channel up yet? I know you're working on it, but I know you said you've been busy, so.
Yeah, I started the one, but I think I'm actually going to change it. So I'm going to change it because we're not just going to do just like the power washing stuff. I'm also going to do like the drone footage and drone editing and some stuff like that with a few other kind of industries involved there. Kind of branching out to a couple different things on that as far as the YouTube goes. But yeah, no.
Another person asked, which I know you kind of got into a situation where you got to do it, but when do you have a commercial building, and how do you know it's the right time to get a commercial building?
So we rent, we rent here off of a building of a current business, which is actually here in Zanesville, hopefully getting ready to move very, very, very shortly to a much, much more prominent location. But the having a home office is okay. Having a spot there at your house is good. But if you're like me and you have kids and you're trying to do things and have guys to talk to and stuff like that and hold all your equipment and different things, it just makes sense to spend $500 or so a month on a spot where you can park a couple trucks, a couple rigs. It gives you that feeling of a location. It gives you that feeling of a base, a centralized nucleus where things happen. Because we got guys that they need to go get chemical, or they need to go get this, or they need to go get this or that, the other. I don't want them coming by my house 12 times a day. You know what I mean? So I think the time that I would suggest to someone to get an actual location is when that you have reached the $100,000 or more mark a year. If you've reached $100,000 a year, or you've done that in the past, it's probably time to go ahead and get a spot.
Or I always say too, if you got employees, because my wife was like, "You ain't having all these employees coming to," and I've seen employees steal stuff. And you know,
me too.
I've heard stories they've gotten motorcycles stolen out of garages and all kinds of stuff because you allow those people in and around your house.
That's the other thing. Get cameras.
Yep.
Get cameras.
Yep. Even if you got a shop.
Get your, if you have guys running your truck, get you a dash cam. It will save your rear end.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And I would have tracers on the truck trailers too, or the little GPS things.
GPS locators. Yep.
Yep.
They're cheap. We use one step GPS. I think it's $15 a month. And it wires right into the ignition. It tells you when they're speeding. It tells you when the truck has been shut off, restarted, reset, has been driving erratically. Tells you where they're at, all that kind of stuff. Totally worth it.
Teak put on here, my old boss always told me if you can make a way for people to have more time, then you have found a business. Jason was sure to say that during class yesterday as well, but it's exactly right. We are at the end of the day, we are selling time. Is what we're really selling. So
convenience and time.
We're not selling anything else other than time. Even Ben, do you mow your own grass now?
Well, actually, our 14-year-old does it, but
Well, okay, so you don't even mow your own grass yet. So, but again, we're at about 55 minutes. Any last words that you would want to tell my people here of what of some good advice, what to do, and all that good stuff?
well, I'll tell you, Jason. There's probably two things that I would attribute to the majority of our success. Well, one actually, one being, of course, I'm a Christian man, or I have Christian beliefs, so God definitely, of course, number one. But if you have someone in your family that can be your either sidekick or your pal, someone to bounce ideas off of, someone to go to just to talk about things. Even if they're not a power washing person, even if they don't know anything about what you're talking about, just someone to go to and talk to. What do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Or something like that. If you have someone or someones in your family that you can go to talk to, that's going to help a lot. And secondly, watch YouTube. I learned everything off of YouTube from you, from like I said, Rob Anderson, and of course John Lang, a few others. Cody Yarball, we bought some stuff from him, of course, as well. But these pressure washing gods, Bobby Walker, him too. Watch them, watch all of them, and make your guys watch them. And then if we ever have a huge convention again, go to the huge. I took the wife and myself and one of our guys down to the huge convention. That was a game changer, because up until that point, the wife really didn't know what we did. She really didn't see the vision. She didn't see the thing. If you can get your wife on board with you, or your significant other, whoever it might be, if they can be behind you and see the vision that you see, you cannot fail. You cannot fail.
That's exactly right. I will say one thing about a caution of people of a lot of times I agree with you on go to find somebody that do it. But be careful around family, because they can be the number one dream killer at all times. If you have that person,
yes, they can,
that is not a positive person, or will work with your dreams. So, find that person that does believe in you, and find that person. And you might not be the best of the best, but go find that person that will not be a dream killer. Well, you can't do that because,
Yeah, no. If they're negative in any way, shape, or form, if they're negative in any way, shape, or form, they say, no, don't do that. You're never going to make it. Or, no, don't do that. What do you mean, power washing? You can't make money at power washing. If those are the first words out of their mouth, leave them alone. Don't ever talk to them again. It doesn't got to be family. It can be Jason. It can be you buy his whatever package or his Voxer thing, and you talk. It can be anybody. It can be me through email. It can be John Lang through Facebook. It can be Team Wash Life. It can be Bobby Walker's group. It could be anything or anyone. It doesn't have to be your family. I was just meaning find someone besides your own head to think about, because I find myself entrapped in my own ideas, and then I'm like, man, I wish I had someone to look at it and say, hey, do you like this? Do you not like this? Or what do you think about this? Having someone like that from the very get-go is impactful. My family was there. My brother, mom, dad, my sister Sarah. None of this would have been possible without my family. It doesn't have to be family. It can be anybody. Your best friend. It can be your wife. It can be your son. It can be anybody. But someone who is always positive, and who is, even if they disagree with you, is willing to look at it at an option and try to find the good in it.
And I think that is probably the best advice for mindset. Because you wouldn't have gotten near as big as you have if you didn't have some cheer. And I always say cheerleaders. My wife is my cheerleader. Sometimes my brother, which is on here, he's my cheerleader. I was talking to him the other day, and he talks number, and I'm always like, you're crazy. But then I'm like, he's really not crazy, And so, it's Crazy Bill TV on here, and he'll be like, you need to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, but, and then I started out myself, but that's my cheerleader at the end of the day of this. He's helped me get to where I am right now. And my wife has helped me get where I am because she has supported me. And it's kind of like what you're saying. If we have our spouse, we really need to get them on board of what we need to do. And you got to be careful there, because it is a fine line sometimes, because they love you a lot, but then they can tell you, they could be that person that can, poop on your parade at the end of the day.
Yep.
And so
they can kill it just as fast as a negative person. So you got to be careful. And that's why it's important to paint the vision. You've got to paint the vision for them. If they can see your vision, and if they actually do have your back, and you'll know if they have your back or not, because they're willing to try to find the vision. They're willing to try to see what you're seeing, to imagine what you're imagining, to find that inner confidence and just beat that out of you. I mean, that you'll know if they're a positive influence on your decisions.
Yep, and so that is some great advice right there. That's probably the best thing I've ever heard on my channel of advice-wise. So, and that might even be better than what I've given advice-wise. But that is some great advice, and I appreciate that, because honestly, I think that is something that a lot of people don't understand, of how you having that cheerleader in your corner can really make you get to the next level.
It can make you and it can break you, and that's that. If you sit down and write down the things that can make you win or make you lose, that's going to be on there, and it's going to be high up on the list.
You know, and even if it's just a person about it, don't even, like we were saying, it don't even have to be somebody that, it just got to be somebody that you can throw them ideals and say that's a good idea, or and you know that's what it is. That's what a lot of it's about, and you know, getting our spouse on board is sometimes can be the hardest thing. You know, we think that our spouse won't like it, and we won't tell them our ideal, and you know that right there done killed our ideal before it even got out of our head at that point.
Yep.
And so I think that right there, Ben, is the best thing that we've said all night, honestly, is getting our spouses on board, getting our family on board, you know, and I even say that sometimes, you know, that's why I put people on our Google Our Business, put our family on there, put our guys on there. You know, our guys are just important. If they don't believe in our vision either, then they're not going to help us win and be successful at the end of the day. And so when we have a vision and we can share that vision and get those people to help us get to our vision, we can conquer a lot of things that you would never ever think you could conquer in your lifetime.
I agree 100%, 100%. There's a reason that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And if you can make someone see the picture that you're trying to paint for them, if they can see your vision, that's what a business is built on. That's why there's mission statements. That's why that they're posted on the wall for every employee to see as they walk down the hallway. That's why they're at the head of every email. That's why that there's Employee Appreciation Day and there's certificates handed out and gift cards, and because all that helps an individual see the mission that you're trying to accomplish. And if they can see your mission, well, I mean, we'll put it this way. If they don't know where you're going, how are they going to help you get there?
That's exactly right. That is awesome. That is awesome. All right. Well, I'm not going to keep you on here all night. Again, if you want to go check out pressurewashhelp.com/webinar for a training on Tuesday night, go check it out. Sign up there. And then if you want a discount code, I believe it's for 3 months, you can go check out pressurewashhelp.com/training, and it is July 4 is the thing. Thank you for coming on tonight, Ben. I appreciate it very much. I've been wanting to have you on here for a long time.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I think it was an awesome one, and I know you're always on here. You're kind of my cheerleader a lot of times, and I appreciate that. And I know you're always promoting me a lot, and I appreciate that a lot. So.
Yeah, we'll do it again sometime.
Sounds good. I'm going to get off here, and then I'll talk at you here shortly. So.
All right.